Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time of watching my video, my name is Bolaji and this is Regi School of Fashion. In this tutorial, I will be showing you how to draft a professional basic trouser pattern from scratch using simple measurements and easy to follow techniques. A basic trouser block is the foundation for creating countless trouser styles, including the trending wide leg cargo trousers, which we will be making in my next video. Grab your tools and let's dive straight into the video. In drafting a basic trouser pattern, the first step is to get your measurements ready. And the measurements required in drafting this pattern are the waist circumference measurements, the hip level, hip circumference measurements, the crotch level, the thigh circumference measurements, the knee level, the knee circumference, the trouser length, and the ankle circumference. All these measurements are to be taken accurately on your client. So in case you don't know how to take all these measurements, I have a well-detailed tutorial on how to take a female trouser measurement, which I will link up at the end of this video. So now I have all my measurements ready and I have my calculation done properly, so which I will be explaining as we proceed in this tutorial. So I have my pattern paper laid, as you can see, and I have all my vertical measurements inserted like so. So this line is for the waist level, that is the smallest area of the waist. Then I have the hip level measurement taken from the waist point to the hip level. Then I have my crotch level measurement, I have the knee level measurement, I have the trouser length, which is the same as the ankle, and I have my hem allowance measurement. As we proceed in this tutorial, always have it at the back of your mind that you are drafting a basic trouser block, which can be graded to any trouser style of your choice, that is, any style whatsoever. And in my next tutorial, I will be using this basic trouser pattern to grade a wide leg pants with cargo pockets by the side. So the measurements I used for the vertical measurement are: waist level to the hip is 10 inches. From waist level to the crotch level is 14.75. From the waist level to the knee level is 18 inches. Then from the waist level to the trouser length, which is the same thing as the ankle, is 42 inches. Then I added hem allowance of 2.5 inches. So after getting your measurements ready, the next step is to insert the hip circumference measurement. So in my own case, the hip circumference measurement I'm working with is 47 inches, which has to be divided by 4, and I have 11.75. So on the hip level, I will insert 11.75, and the line I drew here is going to be my starting point. So from here, I will measure 11.75, and I'm taking my measurement from 1 inch point, because I don't want to use the tip of my measuring tape so that the measurements will not be in excess. So 11.75 is going to be on 12.75, which I have here. Then I'm going to insert the same measurements on the waistline. Then I will connect the 2 points together like so to make a straight line. Now the next step is to insert the waist circumference measurement. That is the measurement taken around the smallest part of the waist area. So here I have 39 inches for the waist circumference measurement, and it has to be divided by 4 as well. 39 divided by 4 gives me 9.75. So after inserting the quarter of the hip circumference measurement, I will add extra half of an inch as his. So which I have here. So in total, I will take the measurements and insert it on the waistline. So here I have 12.25. So I will come to the waist level and insert the exact 12.25. So which is here. Then I will connect the 2 points together. So the next step is to insert the waist circumference measurement on the waist level. And the measurement I have for the waist circumference is 39 inches, which has to be divided by 4. 39 divided by 4 gives me 9.75. So now I'm going to insert this measurement from the hip measurement point I measured out, not from this side anymore. So from here, I'm going to insert 1/4 of the hip of the waist circumference measurements. 1/4 of the waist circumference measurements, which is 9.75. And I'm not going to add ease to this, so I'm going to leave it like so, because this is where the trouser is sitting. It has to be firm. So now I will take my hip curve ruler, then connect the waist point downward to the hip level. Okay, so and because I have the side of my trousers in this part, so this side is going to be the out seam of my pattern and the other side is going to be the inseam of my pattern. So the next step is to insert the thigh circumference measurement on the crotch line. So that is the measurement taken around the thigh. You can either take this measurement or use this formula. So if you want to learn how to take this measurement, everything is inside the video I told you earlier. But if you don't want to take this measurement, you can as well make use of the formula I'm about to share with you. So that is the hip circumference divided by 4. For instance, the hip circumference measurement I'm working with is 47 inches. 47 divided by 4 gives me 11.75. Then I'm going to divide 11.75 by 4 as well. So whatever I get is going to be added together with the 11.75. So that is 1/4 of hip plus 1/4 of quarter of the hip as well. Hope that is clear. So before inserting the thigh circumference measurements, I'm going to extend this line downward to the crotch point. Okay, the thigh circumference measurements I'm working with is 29.5 inches and this has to be divided by 2. 29.5 divided by 2 gives me 14.75 and I'm going to insert exactly 14.75 on the crotch line. 14.75, and because I'm taking my measurement from the 1 inch point, I will mark 15.75 points. Then I'm going to confirm the measurement I have from the hip measurement I extended downward to the thigh circumference measurement I just marked out. So I will take the measurements like so and I have exactly 2.5 inches. Then I will just insert exactly 2.5 inches upward from the crotch line. 2.5 inches. So whatever you have is what you will insert here. Then with my curve ruler, I'm going to connect this together and this is going to be my crotch curve. So now I will be constructing my crotch curve with my curve ruler by connecting the 2 points together, this point and this point. So I will make sure the 2 points connect properly. Okay, then I have this as the front crotch. Don't forget, this particular pattern is for the front panel. So after constructing the crotch curve, the next step is to get the midpoint of the crotch line. So that is the crotch level. So from this starting point I have on the housing side to the crotch point I measured here. If you notice, when I was inserting other measurement, I did not add his. The only area I added is the hip level. This is because I took the hip measurements accurately. So before we proceed, let me quickly explain this. If you notice, when I was inserting the hip circumference measurement, I added ease of 1/2 inch. So that is the only measurement I added ease. For every other measurement, I will not be adding ease, including the crotch line. You can see when I inserted the thigh circumference measurement, I did not add ease. This is because when I was taking the measurement, I've already taken the measurement with ease. These measurements are very crucial, very important. You have to learn how to take them accurately. So for this reason, I will not be adding ease to every other measurement I will be inserting. So now to the crotch line, I'm going to get the midpoint from the outseam to the crotch point. So which is here. Then I'm going to extend this downward to the ankle. So that is the trouser length line. Then I'm going to extend this point downward to the trouser length line, which is the ankle. So I'm going to confirm the measurement I have from here to the midpoint. I will insert it on the knee level and on the trouser length, then connect it with my straight ruler. So guys, now I have the center of the crotch line extended downward, as you can see. So the next step is to insert the knee level measurement. So that is the knee circumference measurement and the ankle measurement. This measurement were taken around the knee area, and the ankle was taken around the ankle as well. I took this measurement with ease, just as I said earlier. So it is necessary to learn how to take this measurement so that after constructing your trousers, you will not have issue of putting it on and off. So the knee circumference measurements I'm working with is 18 inches. This measurement has to be divided by 2. 18 divided by 2 gives me 9 inches. So on the knee level in total, I will insert 9 inches. Then I'm going to share the 9 inches on both sides. That is 4.5 here and 4.5 here. Now the next step is to insert the ankle circumference measurement. The measurement I'm working with is 13.5 inches for the ankle, and this has to be divided by 2 as well. 13.5 divided by 2 gives me 6.75. Now I will be sharing the 6.75 on both sides, just the way I did on the knee. So that is 3.375 on both sides. Now that I have all the measurements inserted, the next step is to start connecting the points together. And I'm going to start on the outseam side, which is this side. So I'm going to have a smooth connection from the crotch to the knee level. And I'm going to make use of my curve ruler in doing this. So I'll be making use of my hip curve ruler, and if you have a pan curve, you can make use of it as well. So I will make sure I have a smooth connection from the crotch point to the knee level without taking any space out of here. The measurement you have on your crotch point must complete. So which means you must not go out of this line. Okay, then I have it as this. Also, when you are connecting this place, make sure you have a very smooth connection. So I'm going to erase this place and make sure the 2 lines are properly connected. So guys, now I have the crotch and the knee area properly connected together. As you can see, after this connection, it is not obvious I connected the 2 points together. So which means you have to pay a closer attention to this area. You must not have a sharp edge. You must make sure the 2 lines are properly connected and smoothly connected together. So the next step is to connect the knee level to the ankle. In connecting the knee level to the ankle, this requires a straight ruler. So I will be connecting the 2 points together, making sure I have a perfect straight line. As you can see, I stopped the connection on the ankle point. I don't need to extend this to the hem allowance line. So you have to stop on the ankle. So now that we are done with the connection of the outseam, the next step is to move to the inseam. So now it's time to connect the outseam, and I'm going to start with the crotch point to the knee point. So I will be connecting the crotch point together with the knee point using my very firm curve. But the best ruler to use is your pant curve ruler. So if you have a pant curve, you can use it. If you don't have, you can improvise with your very firm curve. So I will be connecting the 2 points together like so. Then I will move to the connection from the knee point to the ankle point, which requires a straight ruler as well. So guys, now we have the front panel of our basic trouser pattern properly drafted out, as you can see. And you can see the shape really came out just the way we want it. Now we have done with the drafting. The last step is to cut it out. In cutting this out, I'm going to start cutting on the hem allowance line. I'm going to cut straight down to the other side of my pattern paper. So after which I will fold in my hem allowance, then cut this out following the shape I have on my pattern. I have to do this so that I will not have a shortage when hemming the trousers. Okay guys, now that I have the hem allowance folded inward properly, I can proceed in cutting out my pattern. Now I have the front panel cut out, as you can see, and this is the beautiful shape I have for my basic trouser pattern. So let's meet in the next video where I will be showing you how to draft the back panel.